Welcome. Today is December 5th. It is Krampusnacht. We are going to be watching the Krampus movie. Been wanting to do a watch along and struggled with the idea of doing one for this just because there are a couple of thematic themes in there that are. But we're going to do it. Viewer discretion is advised. There are some things that I personally don't agree with in this film. I don't like language. I don't think lewd things are necessary. But we're going to watch it. We're going to discuss some fun facts about the movie, jog your memory about Krampus, and we're going to be making some D&D maps. We have a German apple cake in the oven right now that is going to be for my party, which while you are watching this, if you are watching it Friday night whenever it gets uploaded, they will actually be playing the campaign, the session. There we go. So that will be going on, but let's go ahead, get the movie started. We'll pull up some fun facts. We're going to have a good time. We are going to celebrate. So, hit play right now. We also are enjoying some delicious coffee out of our teal cup. We're going to be discussing music. We're going to be discussing all kinds of things. We will not be discussing wrapped playlists just yet, or replays for those of us that use Apple Music like myself. But it's going to be a great time. I've really been looking forward to this. I'm using a new app for this particular episode. I want to start using Riverside. We're trying to expand in 2026, and so we are experimenting with Riverside. The tests seem, audio-wise, seem very comparable to what I have been using. So I hope that this is working right. It's lit up, so I know it's plugged in. I'm slightly paranoid about that. My maps are coming out of my book here. Not happy about that. So we are going to do a proper crawl, as it were. They're going to be fighting Krampus tomorrow night. So I want to get them to Krampus relatively quickly, and then once we get there, the battle itself is going to be crazy. I love this opening scene before like the chaos. I imagine this is Black Friday. Like, the turkey has been carved, and we are, now at the Black Friday-ness. It almost looks like Home Depot too that they're in, and the tasing thing is hilarious. This Santa guy, I don't like the Santa at all. But I get why they have the Santa being the way he is, because it's a real thing. So if we approach it with that aspect, I think it's better. I wouldn't say it's okay, but that does not have much of an eraser on it. So that might be an issue for doing these. Here we go. So we have one available. Hopefully the weather has been the way satisfactory to you, whatever that might be. Here in the Midwest, we've gotten snow, which would be great if I was able to go duck hunting. I have not been able to go duck hunting. I did pretend that I was rallying the work vehicle this week. The fight at the concert thing, which is weird because it's in the store if you pay attention. And I always thought, like, prior to this current moment, that it was at the school. So I'm not quite sure what the deal is, why it's at the store. But the snow in the face. It really funny movie in a lot of ways. Like, whenever I went into it, I thought it was going to be a serious horror movie. The first time I watched it, it's definitely not. Also, I don't remember if I said it. I think I did, but I just want to say it right now. Viewer discretion is advised. Yeah, that pretty well covers it. And I love that they show like the clip of the old Christmas Carol, because if you've been watching the show for at least a year, last year we did a watch along, our first ever watch along, which was of That's Our German Apple Cake. So we're gonna pause the movie real quick. We're gonna go detour. I know we didn't get very far into it, but bear with me here. So pause your movie. Okay. So what you should be seeing on your screen right now is Grandma as she's cooking, and the kids are getting ready to come in. So Alexa, stop. So we're going to take an adventure. All right. Follow me if you will. I'll have to go back and grab my phone. Alexa, stop. So I do most of my recording on my phone. So there's that. Set you down right there. You're actually at a really good height. We're getting ready to see what this bad boy looks like. And yeah, so let me grab my phone. It really gives you like a insight into my craziness. So let me get my tripod set up real quick. We'll continue talking. So Krampus has been around for a long time. It is a northern, which is why we're doing German food, a northern, like a Alps legend, and really comes from like almost like Viking lore more than anything. Um, really interesting lore behind it all, and has become like one of my favorite Christmas traditions. Not so much the rest of my family, but for me, it's definitely one of my favorites. Just because it's cool, it's different. What better thing than disciplining your child? I know you're like at a goofy height right now, and you're looking at my hip, so just bear with me here. If you're watching the video, and now you're looking at an oven mitt. Okay, still not the most flattering picture I know. This is why you do audio and not video. Choo! A little warm. All right. Oh, that turned out perfect. I've got to make sure I'm filming with the other thing. I am. Show the camera that. Take a look at that guy. Yeah, that is awesome. I'm so stoked on this. This is gonna be good. So I gotta top it now. It gets topped with powdered sugar. I think it gets topped with a little bit of cinnamon. I'm getting ready to double check that. But yeah, so if you're watching this on Friday, I'm actually going to be going duck hunting tomorrow. And duck hunting is one of my favorite. At least if you're new, if you're not new, you know that already. But gonna be getting out tomorrow. It's been really chilly here in the Midwest. Gonna warm up just a little bit, but I think our weather for it is gonna be perfect. Check some spots today. There's actually a lot of open water. I thought a lot of it would be locked up, but where I'm going to be going, there is open water. So, changed my mind from a field hunt to water because I'm going after ducks and geese. So, but let me quit talking about that kind of stuff for just a minute, and we will focus on what we're doing with this. We could talk. We could talk the podcast rant. I don't want to talk music rants this time. At least I don't think so. It's not in my plans. It's not in the budget. So sprinkle a little extra. Let it completely cool before cutting into it. Dust on top of powdered sugar and enjoy. So we're gonna let this dude cool just like this. We're gonna get back to our festivities, and we'll come back and check this guy out a little bit later. And I might film my bite tonight, but I might wait till tomorrow during the campaign. So let's get back to the action. Get you guys set back up in my spot. I have to adjust you again. Getting everything moved around. I think we'll drop you right there. Like that. It's not going in my favor, is it? Okay. There we go. So hold on one more second. Let's play. So, dog was being. Now we can get on with our festivities. So I am excited to discuss raps and replays and stuff with you guys. But like an evaluation of Tin Roof in particularly, it would be really cool. So Max got into a fight. Obviously, he's icing his face down. I love the joke of like the holiday was created to sell Pepsi. Obviously, Coke would have been the answer. Which, man, a Coke at Christmas time just hits different. You can't tell me different. So, Tin Roof Wrapped 2025. The U.S. was our top country. We had 50% increase in followers, which I was super excited about. Been really struggling with some of my like thought process. Also, Grandma only speaks German, which I find interesting. Maybe a little bit of English, but it's not much, and so I find that really cool. One thing we are going to look up is the mom's filmography, because I think she was in another horror movie, and I want to say I know which one it was, but I'm drawing a blank, so I want to double check that. So then total audience increase was 244%. Thank you guys so much. And this is only on Spotify. We normally get a really good amount of people watching these videos on YouTube. That seems to be a really good spot for this podcast. Again, 15% increase in followers. The top episode this year was "Cause I'm All Alone," which I think was like my first podcast that I had done after like a series of episodes that I was by myself. So the top countries I found incredibly interesting. Good old family squabbles at Christmas time. Mom and daughter, they're having the argument over everything, and then talking about the relatives that are coming. I can't remember what side of the family they are on. I have to keep it quiet for like copyright reasons, but Santa it drives me nuts. I hate that because it's so wrong. Just awful. In family traditions, what a great thing, and I love that they call her Omi for grandma. So having pet names for a grandma is a great thing. So again, top countries, U.S. was number one, but here's where it gets really interesting. Number 2 was Poland. Number 3 was Brazil. 4 is United Kingdom. 5 is Mexico. Like that really blew me away, and I find it really, really cool. The people that listen to this podcast, though, I'm not sure how I hit this demographic, because this is not the demographic I'm aiming for. It has, and I'll get to it here in just a second. My fans' top artist was Ed Sheeran. That's not right, but I'm glad that you guys are here that are listening to this. If you are Ed Sheeran fans, it's just not what I had expected. Music-wise, as far as music goes, we talk a lot of country, whether it's Morgan Wallen, Waylon Jennings, Charlie Crockett, Gavin Adcock. Those have been guys that have been real big topics this year. I'm wanting to do a couple of different things to kind of change it up this next year. As far as content, instead of just music news, because we did a lot of music news this year, and that was fun. But I want to incorporate some other stuff. but I don't really want to talk goals and stuff until later. I think it's so funny that David Keckner's in here, and he's like super, super proud of this goofy Hummer because it's like a H2. It's not even like the original like H1. For this podcast, it didn't tell me for Cattle Sands, but for this podcast, it told me what everybody's top audiobook was, which was Arctic Storm Rising by Dale Brown. Definitely going to have to check that one out because I'm not very familiar with it. But we did get a Rising Star Award or whatever for Tin Roof. We had an uptick of like 90% of something, and I can't remember what it was. But that really made me feel good. Just man, like hit me in the feels. Something to be proud of, something to be happy about. Especially after having some struggles this year, at least like within myself. So it was nice to see. And I haven't even picked up a pencil yet for this silly venture here. So kind of want to start over there, but I don't necessarily want to get up just yet. So let me see if I can spin this without tearing up my book. I don't know. Do I want to? I don't know if I like double-siding my maps, but I think I've done it once already. I definitely have. Bank of the High Elves. I forgot about making the Bank of the High Elves. Okay. So it's going to be another castle. This is going to be a lot of fun. So the party knows that it's going to be Krampus that they're fighting. And the ant is awesome. She's a very fun part of the story just because she's a mess. It looks like Martha Stewart threw up in here. What a portable thing you can use at Christmas time. I love this time of year. We are going to be doing another watch along. We might actually do. Forgive me. We might actually do one of the Grinch movies or a couple of the Grinch movies. I'd like to do the classic Grinch and maybe the more modern one. So, where they're fighting Krampus at in the D&D campaign, they're actually going to be facing him in a level of the 9 Hades, so to speak. Let's see. Krampus cast. Sir, that was awful language. Isn't it great how like they really hit the family thing on like nail on the head, didn't they? Okay. So her name was Toni Collette, the mom. Uh, so movies and shows. Some of you guys may recognize her. I am like iffy. So Sixth Sense, that must be where I recognize her from. She's in a new show called Wayward. Don't know anything about that. She was in Knives Out. She was obviously in Krampus. She was in Wanderlust, Miss You Already, The Way Way Back. Unlocked. Oh, she was in Shaft. Huh. Had no idea. Trying to like find things that I might recognize her from. Some of you guys may know her from Tammy, but course, Adam Scott. I think everybody pretty well knows Adam. He was definitely the star of this movie, I believe. Huge in Parks and Rec, right? And then obviously he was in Step Brothers for those of you who are Will Ferrell fans. Uh, uh, of course, the plotting here. Comment if you've seen this movie before. Any thoughts, comments, whatever, because definitely want some interaction here. And I mean, of course, if all this would stem from bullying from these two, uh, rude, including. We're gonna bump up the volume just a little bit. 8 tiny reindeer. You're so funny, guys. Of course, the dad. They're just playing to me. Obnoxious. They do this every year. You ever feel like that? It kind of makes me think of like Derek Stroop in his comedy. Talking about like cigarettes save people. Uh, that's a funny bit if you haven't ever seen it. But it again very true if you grew up with people who smoked. I grew up where I had relatives that smoked, and that it was very very true of situations whenever there would be arguments and stuff. Uh, so got my opening like chamber where they're going to be coming in at. Um, I'm definitely hitting these guys with a mimic, by the way, in this. Which what a fun like it's going to be amazing. Um, oh, I know what it's going to be. I know exactly how I'm going to do it. We're going to build a mantle right here. Oh, you know what? I know how to make this super simple and super easy. Instead of making a massive map because that would take way too much time. We're going to break this down and yeah. So this whole thing is going to be one room, and we're just going to put our props and everything on the page for the most part, like our permanent props. Permanent props, obviously, they could get moved, but we're going to build a really cool room. That's what we're going to do. This is the fun thing about D&D, like planning all these different things. And Krampus is going to be really cool because we're gonna give him about I think we'll give him about 250 hit points, and I think we'll make the mimics pretty weak just because whatever. But I think we'll give Krampus some layer actions, a little bit of spell casting abilities. Make it a challenge. I mean, my party is level 10, but so we're gonna build a big fireplace right here. Here it comes. Here. Poor kid. Okay, so we got this big fireplace. Uh, there's one thing I love about Christmas is like the magic of it. Um, I really, really enjoy it. So the mimics are actually going to be stockings along the fireplace that have their names on them. Just because, like, why not? How cool would that be? Uh, there was something I wanted to do. Oh yeah. Hmm. Uh, so Krampus. Okay, so 8 essential things you didn't know about Krampus. This is from uh, Fresh Fiction. So, uh, let's just get to the fun things. Allison Tolman didn't know the Germanic folklore before signing on. So, Allison Tolman is the sister to Toni Collette's character in this, if you haven't figured that out already. So she didn't know the Germanic folklore before signing on. She said, I heard the title of the film and Googled it because I was like, that's not a word. And it turns out it is a word. I had no idea about Krampus before I signed on to the film. Krampus's design materialized on a cocktail napkin. Not surprised. People sitting around having a discussion on what to do. Hey, let me see that napkin real quick. And bing bang boom. It's kind of like how this is organically happening right here. Doherty has a strong background in animation, so the creature's look sprung from his imagination rather easily. When I was working with my co-writers Todd Casey and Zach Shields, a lot of times we'd be bouncing ideas around and I'd be in the sketchbook drawing Krampus or the creatures. One of the first get-togethers we went to a bar in Hollywood, and that's where the first sketch happened. Then it became an evolutionary chart from that rough cocktail napkin to a 3D model to the final feature. I love doing visual development while writing. I think it's really important. All right, so Krampus has a surprisingly sweet sentiment at its core. The film posits that families are the worst, which we're just discussing, right? And I love the flip of the Advent calendar. Although the dates in the movie are more for regular Christmas, like obviously it said December 24th. And this snowman is so creepy, and I love it. I love the idea of snowman sentries that are kind of like watching, and he actually just when he gets closer, just I wish that they actually made the snowman come to life, and do something with that. But if you haven't seen it, I just spoiled something. But the snowmen are so creepy, and I love it. Okay, so it posits that families are the worst, but can also stick together to become the best. It was the resonance that spoke to the cast. Scott stated, it was a great little arc for my character of this guy who's a bit disconnected from his family at the beginning of this movie, and through a set of circumstances, needs to figure out he needs to step up and protect the family. Colette thought the ultimate message is for those who lost their spirit, faith, and connectedness at Christmas. This is a family uniting and learning to appreciate each other again. Only when faced with the worst possible situation, Tolman said, one of the fun things about this movie is the common Christmas movie themes about the spirit of the season, the importance of family. It's just that the bad guy in this is a monster. The struggles of the family having to get through the holidays are the same as any Christmas movie. And that really spoke to me and was a lot of fun to turn it on its head. Doherty said, this is a Christmas movie at its core. It was important to us to retain the Christmas spirit. Why do all the rich people get the free stuff? We're not quite there yet. He's getting ready to say it. Free stuff. Not what he said. Free stuff. Uh, it's really interesting that Krampus used DHL shipping, which, where are they at nowadays, speaking of which? This movie came out in 2016, if I remember correctly. Uh, uh, okay, we're going to go ahead and skip down. There's gorgeous animated segment in Krampus. Yes, that animated segment is so beautiful. I can't wait till we get to it. We're actually going to come back to this list at that point for that particular one. Krampus is a family film. And it's rated PG-13. I'm not quite ready to let my little guy see it. I was checking the rating. I'm not seeing it up there. I know it's PG-13 though. So, I see what they're saying. This is interesting, and we're going to get to this next other one later. So I've got like 10 people in my D&D campaign, and so there's going to be 10 mimics, which is a crazy amount of mimics, right? But they're going to be stockings. So they go to look at the stockings, and teeth, and then like, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun to show and describe, and uh, they are going to get some fun Christmas gifts for their characters during this campaign, during this session, because we're not playing anymore before Christmas, and so we're making this a very much a Christmas party, and I'm really excited about it. Okay, so now they're out in the snow. So I'll go ahead. She's going to her boyfriend's house. The daughter is. So barefoot in the snow. This was fun fact number 3. Like of the top 8. So we were going 8 counting down. We skipped 5 and 4 for right now. Well, we talked about 4 about it being a fun family home. We'll kind of tie that in towards the end because I didn't really read all of it. But barefoot in the snow, because of the effects Weta Workshop used, the actors were forced to perform the scenes where they walk through the snow without any shoes on. Scott said we were in this fake snow up to our waist, trying to trudge through it. We were all barefoot in those snow scenes because the silicone material they used for the snow would suck your shoes right off your feet. It was exhausting, trying to get through the snow as fast as you can. Colette mentioned that treacle silicone snow was literally suctioning onto us. It was like working out for 3 days straight. Good calorie burning, though. This scene is so cool with Krampus jumping from roof to roof, and she's freaking out. She was wearing shoes there, by the way. So, but also if you notice, it's plowed down. The frozen face thing is so cool because like the windshield was actually smashed, and she didn't see it. We'll see it here in a little bit if you haven't seen this movie. Um, one of my very first videos I did for the Tin Roof TikTok was actually I took this scene and spliced it together with a couple of my favorite songs to kind of give it the Tin Roofy vibe. So Krampus lands there and is kind of looking around, and you see his hooved feet. Um, Krampus is very much like a minotaur, but he is a demon, so it makes sense. He's got kind of like, you'll see his face later on, but got the horns protruding from the coat, got the hooved feet that we see. He carries chains. The Germanic folklore, Krampus also has a sack on his back to carry people off to the underworld, particularly kids that misbehave. And so you have that. I'm going to label this so I don't forget that it's the fireplace. Okay. And then we're going to have a couple of really big, like swinging, like not swinging, but big wooden doors right here that are opened. Yeah, like that. Bing, bang, boom. I need more coffee. So keep watching the movie. Oh, I can't get up just yet. I'll have to wait for a different scene. So right here, like where it stops and it opens, I did Christmas Vacation spliced with Corns Right Now. So, like right here, we'd cue the music, bam, bam, ba da da ba, ba 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 da da ba, and then like as it starts to come out, and they're overlapped, and then the scream, and it cuts, and it says like "Have a safe and happy Krampusnacht," and definitely one of my favorite like scenes that I had done. I need to throw my thing back on the charger. I don't want to lose my battery during this. There we go. I knew we were eventually going to get to a point where I would be wanting to do this particular episode where we do this. I love. There's something about like sitting with your significant other, watching the snow come down, and just having a chat. And obviously, like at this moment, they're worried. It's getting late. The daughter hasn't come back yet, and so like they're setting up for another really big scene. because we're at that part of the movie where we're getting to our not our climax, but like the height of uh, the trouble. I can't think of what it's called right now. The predicament, so to speak. Um, it's getting kind of like my video is a little laggy for whatever reason. Uh, hmm. So we got doors. You know what? Before they take off, why don't I get some coffee and we'll kind of I'll get back to what I was talking about in just a second. D&D woes. No. And it. Good. Ah, I have to grab some paper towels. Man, man, oh man. All right. So, Grandma, as you can tell, has it figured out. She knows what's going on. I think we'll go ahead and still use this page. I think it'll be okay. Maybe coffee stains will add some character. Uh, you know, we'll see what it does as it dries out. We'll leave it alone for a minute. But you can tell Grandma is scared. But here we go. Get ready to see the super not so sweet. Oh wait, that is an H1. I thought he had an H2. So an H1, yeah, is pretty cool. Uh, his comment about global warming. Man, I don't necessarily believe in global warming. I've got a few theories on some things that are going on. Maybe we'll talk about that like in a more of a hunter episode where we focus on more outdoorsy stuff. I don't know if like now's the time for that talk. Uh, H1s are cool. Uh, with us talking motorsports and stuff like that. Oh, I never did finish my thought on that. So, those of you guys who are outside of the U.S. that listen to this podcast, Poland, Brazil, Mexico, UK, I really want to hear from you guys because if you guys are watching this from another state or another country, my theory is you guys are here for the rallying content. Which I got a big announcement about rallying content uh, after the first of the year. I'm gonna hold my tongue on it for right now. I am very excited though. I've got so much that I'm working on for next year, and I feel like the only way I can go is up after an absolutely amazing 2025, which it didn't feel amazing until the end of the year, as in a lot of ways. I did have some moments where I thought things were really, really good, and obviously Adam Scott picks up on the fact that something like came through the windshield, David Keckner didn't catch on to it. So hopefully this whole shenanigans is done and over with, and uh, we can we can do what we were going to do. Where you should be at right now in the movie is 33 minutes and 6 seconds. You should be looking at a picture of Tony Collette and Alice and whatever her Tolman. A picture of them as little kids with made out of a popsicle picture frame and or made in a popsicle picture frame, and that's where we're going to start. I have a little bit of a device issue or whatever, so hopefully I can splice the two together and everything will be fine. If not, it'll be two parts and everything will be okay. Uh, that being said, why is my because it's not quite time. So let's continue. Family reconnection. That this is one of my favorite times of year because of like the family side of things, the reconnecting, the whatever. Same thing happens in A Christmas Carol, right? Where the nephew and uncle are reconnected. And I'm gonna have to listen to that book this week. I started listening to a Krampus book, and it's not quite hitting my fancy, I guess. It's leaving some to be desired. But that being said, let's see. Got a notification. Sorry. So we got our doors. We spilled coffee, and then mayhem ensued after that. Doing this kind of stuff, it's hard because I end up running out of space, and it becomes quite a bummer. So then you got to go through and you got to delete stuff and whatnot. But we're working towards bettering this podcast, which is something that I was getting at. There will be more rally content. We're going to be changing things up, but I really don't want to. I want to save that for another episode, talking about what's coming and stuff like that. Let us get a little closer to the new year. That being said, I wanted to pull up some rallying news. And I got some sort of, huh. I'll deal with that later. Sorry. It might be in relation to top secret stuff. But back to the subject at hand. I wanted to look up some rallying news. So, like, we had the RAC recently. I don't think we got to talk about the end of the championship for World Rally Racing. But before we do that, we're here for the movie. And so he cut the fact that it's bipedal, which is obviously an important thing for this movie. And they're in the neighbor's house. Actually, I think it's his boyfriend's house, if I remember correctly. Looking for the daughter. And that stuff is so thick. Remember, they're barefoot right now as they're trudging through this. Come here! They have their guns. And I think it happened while there was the skip there and stuff. Oh, he's getting sucked under the snow. And getting drug around. There you can almost tell, like, it definitely has an interesting texture to it. One, like, you can believe it's snow. Like, it's a believable snow. Uh, I think it's something kind of like what we'll see here in a little bit that's biting him. I love that. Tommy. It flees off all wounded. Over here, while I'm sitting here thinking about it, we're going to spin this just a little bit now. Over here, we're going to build a throne. We'll make it, obviously, the Hummer gets destroyed. Kind of a bummer. So we're gonna make it a big throne. Krampus should be a big demon, right? Big burly guy. So I ended the last session off really, really cool. So I did this whole, like, tell me about what you knew about the demon of Christmas. And so I left it open to, like, that kind of thought. And like, they did such a good job of making them look like they're just so cold. the makeup people did a great job. And of course, like both of those guys are really good actors. I like David Koechner a lot. I think he's a funny guy. Uh, he was in a movie that I saw before I was a Christian, back whenever I was a heathen. Uh, Obviously, I'm saying stuff in jest. But back before I was a Christian, I watched a movie that he was in where he was a manager of a restaurant, and he had a hilarious line in there. It was a super simple line, and it was dumb. The whole movie was like a dumb, silly, and it was, "I'll have you out of here so fast you won't even be able to say yo MTV Raps," and it cracked me up. All right, so we're gonna build this super awesome throne, make it about like that. Put some arms on it. It's going to almost be like a couch. Well, we might have some news there. I'm going to take a look and see what that is. We're with us being in the off season of rallying, because we were talking about Rally Saudi Arabia. I honestly found it a very interesting rally. Was it what it was supposed to be? Definitely not. It didn't lead. It didn't live up to the hype. As far as like it was cool rally. It was challenging. There was a lot of interesting facts to it that way. But my throne is not symmetrical. But there was a lot of issues. It coming down to child choice and everything like that. I definitely don't approve of letting a child drink. Obviously, Max is starting to realize that Grandma knows what's going on. That would be heart wrenching as a parent, not knowing where your kid is. A massive blizzard outside. Um, yeah, somebody's tearing through your fancy neighborhood. Uh, uh, I'm sorry, I am trying to multitask here, and I'm not doing a very good job of it. But anyways, it it was the roads extremely rough. You could tell in the pictures that the like from the recce that the rocks were going to play a huge part in this, and special stage 16 ended up being an absolute nightmare for the cars. Fandom wise, super interesting rally. A lot of drama, a lot of craziness, which yeah works out great in a lot of cases, but I think we lost out on a good fight between Ogier and Evans. But Evans even said, I was down by 4 points. I could have, picked that up somewhere else in the season and would have been fine. Um, so he's not necessarily even upset about Saudi Arabia. So I think that says a lot to us as fans that we need to keep in mind. If he's not super bothered by it, why should we? I love the animation for the cartoon thing there. Oh, MotoGP. I don't follow MotoGP. Reddit suggests things to me sometimes. So now season's over. Oit's gone. Calais gone. We know Toyota's lineup. We don't know M Sports lineup. Supposedly they're going to have 3 full-time cars next year. I don't know how they're going to do that just because of their current situation. We know Gregoire is planning on stepping down to Rally 2 from comments that he has made because he's lost one of his big backers. So maybe Martin jumps up to a role at M Sport as a full-time driver. Be really good for Martin to start getting that experience at places like Monte Carlo. I don't think he'll be a player at Monte Carlo. Maybe Sweden. I'd like to see how he does at Sweden. The kid is incredibly fascinating and incredibly good behind the wheel. I was really rooting for a Martin Sesks win at Saudi just because M Sport needs it. Um, I think it would be a really great like shot in the arm for those guys. I don't know what to do with this coffee spill just yet. I'm thinking about making a pit out of it, but I don't know. But it just it's been a trial for those guys. But Josh McElheen seems to be kind of like getting himself together. Uh, Man, I want nothing but the best for him. Might pause that conversation on Rally Car for just a minute. She always gets a little weird around Christmas because she never talks about it. Everything's fine. We're just being chased by a demon of Christmas. Everything's gonna be fine. Hmm. I think it's interesting that they, did the whole like busy, business dad thing. Aw, super sweet sentiment stuff. How cheesy. I don't remember who boarded up the windows. No, I guess I wasn't paying close attention. So fire's going out. They're basically asleep, but we're getting ready to hear. Uh, I find it interesting, the Christmas music playing. Man, the flame on that candle is like really tall. Uh, it's just such an interesting part because like they did such a good job of portraying like the basically the final moments of peace for this family. Another flame super tall off of a candle. I've never noticed that, but I'm trying to find interesting details here. And of course, the once lit fire is now almost no more. And with that, boom, no more music, so no more background noise. Where are we at on this guy? As far as time goes, we're 46 minutes in, so we're halfway through the movie. So we're really getting ready to start hitting that downhill slide towards the end, the resolution of a story. Um, we've got a throne, we've got a fireplace, we've got doors. I'm glad that I'm changing this up a little bit to make it a little bit easier. Krampus won't make an initial like immediate scene, so maybe we put a couple of like, doors right here. Put some big round brass knobs on there like that. I'll go ahead and label them with a couple of D's so I know that they're doors. Uh, I'm going to draw it as a circle, but I'm going to put a massive Christmas tree in this place. It's Christmas, so you know what? We'll put some peaks on it like that. And there we go. Put a little frill on it like so. Uh, Coffee gives it kind of that aged look to it. I kind of like it. I feel like I should have like some snackiness. I'm sitting here, I'm relaxing, I'm watching a movie. This really, it's been a crazy week because of the weather, like we were talking about earlier with the snow and stuff. Uh, it almost looked like I was going to have to work Saturday, aka tomorrow, but things kind of worked out to where I won't have to. Uh, Here we go. Ah! Boing. I love the cartoon. Like the head bonk kind of sound. It's really strong. Whatever's on the other side. I don't know. It's obviously like, could it be other cookies? Maybe. Is it Krampus that's pulling them? No, because Krampus would have much more strength. Yeah, excuse me. I'm also tired. Uh oh. Problems after problems after problems. Fight the fire. I love how the cookie monster. They do such a great job of like just showing all the chaos of this particular moment. And of course, the dad's all tore up, rightfully so. His kid was just yanked from his life momentarily or permanently. Aw, poor kid. I could understand blaming yourself. Oh, this is all our fault. So I'm gonna not talk while she says this part. So cool. Such an amazing scene. And then, of course, like she has the bell, which is just absolutely incredible. Uh, so there's a gorgeous animated segment in Krampus. I already confessed that was my dipping my toes back in the water. I think there's something with stop motion animation and Christmas that go hand in hand. Totally agree. Because I think about Nightmare Before Christmas and stuff. And Christmas, so go hand in hand because we've been raised on all the Rankin Bass holiday specials as kids. So like Santa Claus Comes to Town, Rudolph, so on and so forth. Those two are like some of my favorites. Uh, that was done by We Did Digital. I told them make it look like you found some old stop motion animator who had done it in his garage or basement. We roughed up the edges of it. I kept telling them make it imperfect. They really took the ball and ran with it. All of the animators at WIDA have a love of stop motion animation. I mean, that's the. I mean, it's like kind of where it began with like that 3D ish style. It's so much fun too, like the blocky mouth movements and stuff like that. It's just so much fun. So I love the view of it, especially like how they did the shadows and stuff. Uh, that's usually what inspired them to do what they're doing. I thought it was a really great way to fill in the backstory about Krampus, especially because it's important that this movie is seen by kids. It's meant to be a family horror movie or dark fairy tale, or whatever you want to call it. One of my fondest memories is seeing Gremlins with my family. If we're going to teach kids or families about Krampus, I felt like it should be told by a grandmother as if it were an old fairy tale. You're paying tribute to the source of the material. That's how Krampus legend was told for centuries. Uh, and I love it. I think it's right. Uh, I just man, it's so cool. Okay, so Snowman was actually the 23rd. I had that messed up. So now we open the door the 24th. A little picture of the bear. My son got a really cool advent calendar actually that I can't wait to see him kind of dabble with. So throne, Christmas tree, doors. Need something on this side of the room. Kind of bring it together a little bit. Snowmen. Uh, I can actually draw snowmen on here. I will use coins. So we'll have mimics, we'll have snowmen, we'll have uh actually maybe not snowmen. Let me I'm gonna let my creative horror wheels turn there a little bit, but we got Krampus's imperfect throne, which actually might make it even cooler. I'm thinking wrought iron for appearance. So that'll be kind of cool. It did get a little chilly in here. Uh I just heard my furnace kick on. Uh she's a funny actress. She's also been in like a lot of really big stuff, like Two and a Half Men and stuff. Um, okay, I can't remember why he's drawing circles. I'm trying to remember. I imagine it's meme of some sort. I don't think it was actually Krampus. Uh, it would like the mystery of not knowing, I think makes it more special. And like this is so heartbreaking because young, young, uh, a struggling family. The presents are wrapped in newspaper because obviously not super financial, like well off kind of situation. Uh, one of the gifts that came from uh, the bag that DHL brought, um, I, making some noise there. If you've seen this movie, you know what's coming, and it's super super cool. I say a lot. I don't mean to. What we got going on? So they're getting a plan to get out of there, driving the big old plow truck. So they're trying to get to the mall. Man, malls at Christmas time were just so cool. Uh, I miss the old mall days. I don't know about y'all, but there's something nostalgic about that. Oh, yeah, it's actually a really cool idea. Ooh, now I kind of want to draw a bigger map. Because what if, like, coming into Krampus's castle, like this can be his throne, right? But what if, like, coming into it, it looks like a mall? Maybe I'll just do it as a mental visual. But like, it looks like a mall. Uh, we do some like mental puzzles instead of like something super tough. Maybe like you got to answer a question. There's more snowmen now, and they're moving. Up, up. Krampus is watching. Now he's not there no more. Eerie, right? So it's a fun movie. If you watch it with your children, that's your own thing. Like if if you so choose, that's all up to you guys. But I definitely think my youngin is not ready for this. Maybe next year he'll be ready, or year after. But we're getting close, and I do think it'll be fun to watch this movie. He already knows kind of the lore behind Krampus because of my interest in it. I wanted to make stolen instead of a apple cake, but my wife suggested to make the apple cake because it would be easier to make. Stolen is very hard to make. If you can make it, kudos to you because it is a challenge. So I'm treating my party to not only the apple cake and a Krampus D&D session, but we are also going to be having German meatballs. So they're kind of like in a stroganoff sauce, almost like Swedish meatballs, I guess. Still, from that northeastern section of the country or of the world, Europe, whatever, um, where Krampus's legend would be known, and really looking forward to that. I'm gonna tinker with it a little bit. I'm not cooking it on the barbecue grill. I'm gonna do it in a pan, and then probably toss them into a crock pot so they stay warm. Holiday season is upon us. Uh, how much fun is all this? Like it's a good time to reconnect with family, which obviously like they paint that in Christmas movies and stuff. We had already discussed that, but it's so true. You get together with family. Hey, how you been? Blah 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 blah. Let's not let this like be the only time we see each other. Maybe make plans for seeing each other throughout the year because of getting together for Christmas. Uh, the fun times of baking with your kids, the just different get-togethers. I know I'm looking forward to all of our church congregation get-togethers. They're so much fun. They're really meaningful. They mean a lot to me. Um, yeah, I just love this time of year. It's so much fun. Uh, Not so special Christmas special. Will be the Friday before Christmas again this year. So, like always, which will be when will that episode drop? Pulling up calendar. December the 19th is when that one will drop. So you'll actually get 2 episodes that week. And of course, we're getting ready to have all kinds of craziness ensue here. You can feel it. You've never seen it before. It's building. You know it's coming. Uh, Man, how do I want to do them all? Oh, that would be so cool. Man, I've got some really cool ideas. I think it'll just be a mental thing for the most part. No, I want to draw the map. How do I want to draw the map? Okay, so we'll do the map over here. I think we got like maps. Like malls just seem like they'd be best like this long ways instead of like coming in this way. So uh, we'll put our vestibule right here. Bing, bang, boom. We're only going to do a single floor for the mall for this one. We're going to put a Santa. We'll put like a little Santa house thing, like right here. Like put a like a little Santa's chair right here. The extended jaw is just so wild on that clown. And with the napkin, like what's that gonna do for you, buddy? Ah, that poor guy is always in the leg. Evil, crazy gingerbreads. Well, if you went to your brother's, none of this would have happened. In all honesty, I'm sitting here thinking about it. That KitchenAid reminds me of our KitchenAid. Ours is black though. She's carrying the axe up way high. Drop that hand down a little bit. Get some swinging oomph in there. Uh, this thing is crazy looking. It's a crazy looking doll. I feel like that bear inspired Five Nights at Freddy's. Out of nails. Time to reload. Smart call. It's a nice shotgun. Very tactical style shotgun. Bop, bop, bop. These are some strong toys. I just want to point that out. All right. This needs a food court, right? So I love how it's gonna like be like seemingly normal, almost like throwing them off to a point. So here's our food court. I just did like an L block, just kind of show where it's going to be, and then I'm gonna put a few little tables out here, a couple little chairs. Got a couple of duck hunts planned for my Christmas vacation, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. I got to take my Christmas vacation before the actual Christmas holiday. Um, I would love to like get off right before Christmas and be off through the New Year's, like to the beginning of New Year's. Maybe I'll do that one year. Definitely not this upcoming year though. We got a lot going on. I got a lot going on that I've got planned that I want to do and accomplish. Um, Open Fire Meetup is on the schedule. The blood from the bear is so cool because it's like a green color. Just like as she plunges the knife into it, goes, time to take the hair down, grab the axe, start swinging. Oh, that robot. There was something about the robot in that fun fact stuff too. Uh, let's see, where's it at? Adam Scott was attacked by a tiny robot. Daugherty utilized loads of practical effects, which meant that his actors would have to be attacked by a gaggle of possessed toys. Scott said there was no rehearsal, really. The whole movie was made on stages in New Zealand. Shout out New Zealand, which was one of my top countries for my Christian podcast, actually, the Callous Hands podcast. So we're indoors so we could control the environment, and it made it much easier. That scene took a while. I had a harness on under my clothes with the robot connected to it, and there was someone controlling the robot to stab me in the back. The folks at Weta Workshop were really nice. The creatures they came up with were pretty amazing. So, there. That's the fun fact about the robot you just saw. Really cool stuff. I need more coffee, but I don't know. I don't want to. Maybe I'll just actually not right now. Would probably be the best time. I might have to use the restroom once this is over. Got like 20 minutes left of this movie, and it'll be time before shower and bed. I am beat. I don't remember if I explained which ducks were on this, but it's my green winged teals. Uh, Man, I I love hunting. I love Christmas. This is definitely like one of my favorite times of year. Uh, really want to talk about some of the stuff that I'm trying to hold on to. The different like sound effects they use for like the screeches and the screams and everything is super cool. The effects of like this ceiling drywall breaking underneath the weight and ripping, and I love the broken fireplaces because it's metaphorical, um, which we'll get more into that later on in the movie. Is that's the crazy Jack in the Box thing again, isn't it? Yep, it's so creepy looking. Ew, the flick of the tongue, so gross. Uh, would it be a mall without like a J.C. Penney's and a Macy's? So we're gonna put a Macy's there. Uh, do it. Put Sears right here. I really want to try a bite of that apple pie. Or apple cake, not apple pie. Ha ha. I'm stoked on it. Elves. I forgot about the elves. It's so cool because like they're wearing ceramic masks and all crazy looking and stuff. And this is really where things begin to do that downward spiral because like the elves come in, they take people, and like the pointy noses and everything. Like the real evil looking elves, they extinguish the fire. Like this is it. Like we're coming for you. They're chaining people up. Oh, look at the hug between them. It's so cute. He's protecting the family, so he's protecting his family. So they're carrying off Aunt Dorothy. Aw. I do like and appreciate this movie that it attacks the family, not just the kids. I think that that's a really big ordeal because it should be more than just attacking the kids. Um, that's horrible. Because like, what's the mom gonna do? The mom's gonna go after the baby. Whee! No, Krampus calling them all. think the horns on the one are really cool looking too. Man, I'm gonna do some really cool like sound effect stuff. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Uh, Let me grab some more coffee real quick before things get super interesting. Continue watching the movie. It's him. Krampus is coming. So let me grab some coffee real quick. Ah, come out of my shoe. I'll have to go grab my coffee in just a second. But time to brave the elements here. Aw. Heartbreaking moment, right? The grandmother sacrifice uh, that we see so much. Hang on one second. All right, here he comes. I got back just in time. I almost gonna get another mess with my coffee. This angle that they did, like from the mantle, was super cool. And it's so cool to see how he has to come through because he can't come through like in a normal way because he's so tall that he has to like pull himself through the fireplace. And she stands so proudly. But like back to the animation, she was a girl during like World War II. It seems like from the way that they depicted it, and the struggling times, the village was torn apart, and that hurt child, uh, and the parents were carried off because they didn't do justice for their little girl. Uh, it's sad in a lot of ways, but also like perhaps it's a metaphor for the war and like that aspect. I don't know because I didn't write it, but I love how he like goes into the sack and opens it, and all the toys like jump out on him. And like they do just enough to like make it horrifying, and then they leave the rest up to imagination. They do such a good job with this movie. I hope it becomes like a classic for your families. Uh, I don't know if it would necessarily be a classic for mine, but it's definitely one that I personally enjoy, which is why I'm doing this with y'all. Uh, I had put in some work on a Christmas playlist. There is a Christmas playlist on Spotify already. I haven't really had much of a chance to mess with it and modify it, just because of the way Spotify is now doing their premium stuff, they make it so hard to interact with it unless you pay. And I mean, rightfully so. They're running a business. They're trying to do whatever. And of course, everybody nowadays is mass profits, which um, I kind of want to talk about that in the future, very soon, because it bothers me. It kind of goes into the avarice side that can be tied in with Christmas, but we can talk about that at a different time. I love all the hugs and the loving here of like we're pulling together what's left of this family. Um, it's sweet, and also the fact that that stuff is neat. You know what we know about it now. The challenge. I think it's cool that it was filmed in New Zealand. I really want to go to New Zealand sometime. I think I mentioned the open fire meetup earlier. I'm like that is very high on my must do list for the 2026 year. So my schedule is going to be focused on that, and I'm going to try to get a booth at a couple of different events this year. I'm going to really try to grow this podcast and Cal's Hands. Also, if you're watching this and not sharing this with somebody, why? Why are you trying to keep this to yourself? Click the follow button, the subscribes, all the dumb stuff, and it's not really dumb because it helps me out a lot. Write reviews, comments, interact, all that stuff is so helpful. Plus, like I'm trying to build a community here. You know, I don't want to be alone. I don't want y'all to be alone, especially around this time of year. We shouldn't have to be alone. Wouldn't want anybody to be alone. So if you need somebody to talk to, reach out to me. Probably, honestly, a really good time to talk about that since we're seeing him struggle with the van there. Uh, I got a funny idea for the thumbnail for this video, or like for this podcast. It's gonna be awesome. That being said, the elves are back. Yeah. That part I always found interesting. Like, why did that happen? Like, why did he get sucked down and drug off? And what drug him off? Was it another elf? Do the elves do the burrowing? That's what I was like thinking in my head whenever I said elves. All right, so we got some tables, we got a food court, we got a Sears, we got a Macy's. How about a Sam Goody? Haven't thought about a Sam Goody in a little while. Uh, the hollow eyes of Krampus are so interesting. Ew, long fingernails. What is that? I've seen this movie, obviously, because of the way I've spoiled some of the stuff. Tore it up and threw it into the wind. Spirit of Christmas took it to Krampus. Look at that, holding a bell. It's brought to the resolution. That's interesting, like the chained up, or like the prisoner Santa Claus thing with arms out. The family being tortured. Sir, language, mouth on that kid. needs a birch branch spanking. What a lesson. Motivational stuff there. I love this. This part's so good. Long, creepy fingernail. Ugh. And then he laughs at him. Fat chance. He said, "Take me," and then now he's asking to be not taken. Like, what do you want, kid? You want to be taken or not? Just good stuff. You remember when Chick-fil-A's were just in food courts at malls? I think one of these needs to be a Chick-fil-A. Put it right next to the hibachi place. Because I feel like that's a count. So looking outside, looking all Christmassy, everything looks great. But if you notice, like, what's going on with the way that part was filmed? Didn't seem like glossy, like it was done in I don't know, a glossy way. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know what that means. I don't really.
Okay, so we are having some issues with Riverside. So we're wrapping up with my old format. So I don't know. We'll have to figure out what's going on there. Maybe there's a limit since I'm not currently subscribed to Riverside and I'm trying it out. So that might be something we have to kind of mess with. But we are about to wrap this up. We're at an hour, 29 minutes, and 23 seconds. Max just talked about how he had a bad dream. He guessed, and we're going to wrap this up real quick. Madam, language. And again, it seems dreamy the way it's filmed. You notice how they're stolen on the table there for them to eat? Stolen is a dessert bread, by the way, a Germanic dessert bread that's really, really good. Interesting piece of taxidermy there. Aw, everything is coming back together. It's all wonderful. Max just had a bad dream. Merry Christmas. Aw. Merry Christmas, Max. You know, I wonder if I'm only allowed to do an hour at a time with Riverside. And it was in the process of uploading. Sitting here thinking about it, trying to understand what the new stuff is going to do for me. So he opens up the bell. And it all starts coming back. Look. I just wanted Christmas to be like it used to be. The whole family starts feeling weird. The daughter, she reminds me of somebody. Okay, movies and shows. Better not cry. All right, so they're trying to obviously mentally rehash what's going on. And I'm interested to see what you guys think. Because, like, we have the snow globe. It's put on the shelf in Krampus's lair. Ooh, that's what can go over here. We're going to build a massive shelf. We'll do some fun stuff with the with the shelf there. So, fun movie. It was a fun little deal there. So, I want to know. Let me know in the comments, whatever. Does the family die in the end of Krampus? According to Google, it says yes. In the movie Krampus, the family appears to die or become trapped in a snow globe, a Hadean snow globe. Though the exact meaning is debated, the final scene shows them alive and happy on Christmas morning, but then reveals they are trapped in a snow globe in Krampus's lair, suggesting a dark eternal punishment for losing the Christmas spirit in a common interpretation supported by the director. While some think it's a dream or purgatory, the dominant reading is that Krampus has collected their souls for his prison, a fate worse than death. Highly interesting. Highly interesting. I think it's there so he can keep an eye on them. I don't necessarily think that they're trapped in the snow globe. They definitely could be, especially since it's the Google thing mentioned something about the director or whatever. But I don't know. I want to hear your comments. Let me know what you think. That's how we're going to wrap this one up, guys. Thank you so much for spending your time with me this evening. Happy Krampusnacht. Hope you enjoyed watching the movie with me. Hopefully you are enjoying some Germanic Christmas traditional meal while you're doing this. And, man, I'm looking forward to what's coming next. Y'all be good. We'll see you soon.